So this is the question. Do you train only that which you are strongest in, or do you train the odd angles, the weaknesses, and whatnot? Do you build up your weaknesses, or do you enhance your strengths? The honest answer is, it depends. In the world of martial arts, most often we strive to train the things that we're anatomically, physiologically strong in already. Good postural, structural alignment and whatnot, making the most out of our musculature. But then there are other styles that kind of play on the edges of that. Some of the wushu styles and capoeira and drunken fist and whatnot. They play at the very edges of balance and stability. And at least athletically, they're the better for it. Tactically, take it or leave it, but athletically, they are better for it. But the other night I was working with a student, and he was doing something with rather poor structure, and I said, look, people have been knocking people out with shitty haymakers since the beginning of fighting. But there's no reason to train, sloppy punches. Now, there may be occasion to train a haymaker type, large looping punch, but there's no reason to train the slop. There's no reason to train, blind momentum and, poor fist formation and shoulder stability. Because the fact is that under stress you are going to degrade as it is. There's no reason to degrade yourself during your training. You should be training as tightly as possible so that when things loosen up under pressure, they only loosen up to a certain degree. If you train loosely, then things are bound to fall apart under pressure. So, take it or leave it, for strength and athleticism, you absolutely should work at the very distal reaches and the most, medial reaches. At all ends of the spectrum and the back and forth between. You need your straight arm strength as well as your bent arm strength. You need your clinch strength as well as your striking strength. Your grappling strength as well as your kicking strength, all that. It's all important, but you have to understand the context in which you're doing it. And just because you're training the far reaches of ability still does not mean that you can train slop. If you're training slop, you're simply going to have slop, or worse. And it's always a possibility of worse. But if you train tight, you're only going to loosen up to such a degree. And understand that even the world's best boxers are not throwing straight line punches and tight hooks in the 12th round. It's just not happening. Unless, of course, they're sandbagging or whatever. But, and this is true for all competitive athletes and whatnot, you can only take so much fatigue before your form suffers. So if the slop's just going to come anyway, don't bother training the slop. Don't train yourself to go to those poor techniques that will open you up to self-injury. Train tight. Train very tight. Train at all ranges, but train tight. Train good form. Train good balance. Push yourself to the edge of what stability is, of what strength is, of where optimal, postural and structural stability are. But don't push yourself over the edge. Don't push yourself into the realm of injuring yourself all the time. So, I guess I'll leave you with that. Talk to you guys later. Good journey.